Well, howdy howdy. Here we are back at Sigel South. Been home now about 2.5 weeks. Let's see, got here on the 13th. This is the, fiddle, this is the 2nd. I've been here about 3 weeks. And it's been enjoyable. Kind of, this room, the part you see looks fairly straight, but around me is quite a bit of desolation, and I just haven't felt up to really getting after it. Like I say, I've got a bookcase that collapsed over here. One shelf of it busted. Got to fix that. I've made up my mind that there's a lot of just sundery stuff in here. I've got this room. This was a bedroom. And I have got this thing jammed to where it's actually difficult to walk around in it. I have a path over here and a path over there. And I just need to, first off, I need to fix that bookcase. And then I've got a table, actually, which is an antique table. Came out of an old house up in Ridgeway, PA that we used to own many years ago. And it's been sitting there collecting all my whatnots and trinkets and whatnot, and it's totally loaded. And about 90% of what's on there needs to, go. Be trash canned, given to somebody else for them to clutter up a room that they've got. But, haven't got to it. Since I got back, I have been trying with some diligence to get back on a exercise regime of some sort. Now, I'm going to sneeze here just a second. I have a treadmill here, and I have a treadmill up at Sigel North. And when I was at Sigel North, I did a little bit, not much. I used to, up until about a year and a half ago. I did 30 minutes a day, every day on my treadmill. And I've just gotten out of the habit, and it's showing on me. Not anything visually that you can see, but I'm saying, my stamina level and whatnot has gone down, and it's just so since I've gotten home, about 4 days a week now, I'm doing 20 minutes on the treadmill, and I'm in hopes that this will reduce my blood pressure, bring my stamina back up to something similar. Of course, now I'm 75, be 76 in May. How much stamina can you expect me to have? But I'm tired of being tired today. This is Sunday. What do we got? It's 11:43 p.m. on Sunday, 11/2, or November the 2nd. And how much really stamina and energy can an old fart like me expect to have? But I used to have quite a bit. That's just a year or so back, so got to do something about that. Try to get back on the track. Started keeping my flashcards. Of course, it's a notebook flashcard. But I keep my thoughts going that way. Wife went out to see the kids a week ago, so I batched it for Sunday. Well, that's not big news to anybody, but I was around here by myself. Oh, yeah. We're going to get a little political on some of this stuff tonight, because politics is coming up. We got an election here I don't know, week, several days. Republicans are dragging out Monica. Of course, one of the reasons they're doing that is because I think they're afraid of Hillary. So they're doing everything they can to try to destroy her. Really destroy her before the campaign even gets going. It's maybe 2 years, but boy, they're after her now. And they brought out Monica, and you all know who Monica is and what she did. Now, that's old. That's old news. That's been 12 years ago, a little longer. But they're evidently hurting for issues. I figure that if they win control of both houses of Congress, that they'll start investigations into Benghazi again. What's that, 2-3 years ago? They'll be banging away about Monica here and her tryst with the past president. Anyway, it's going to happen. Let me see what we got here. Oh yeah, drought goes on. Now I had heard when I was at Sigel North, it seemed that I used to listen to the news and watch the web down here. It seemed to me like they got some fairly substantial rains. Well, maybe they did, but it wasn't near enough because, I mean, the reservoirs down here are still going down. You've heard me go on about how if they don't devise a way to augment the drainage or water flow off these watersheds around here, they're going to run out of water. Some of these reservoirs have become unusable. Some towns are trucking water out in West Texas. And of course, I put forth the specter that they need to start desalinating the Gulf. We need to put desalination stations down there on the Gulf Coast and desalinate the salt water and then back flushing it into these reservoirs. Never be short of water again. Of course, you might have a problem with all the salt. When you desalinate salt water, you have big piles of salt. Of course, the question is, what do you do with the salt? I have no answer for that. But I bet they could come up with something. Went in to vote early. Voted straight Democrat. And I really felt kind of bad about that. Because I'm sure that if I researched and went down the list, there'd probably be a couple, 3 Republicans in there that, that I could live with. But one of the things that just bothers me about Republicans in general, of course now, Obama's going to be in office for 2 more years, so actually what I'm about to say will not come to pass. But if they take control of the Senate, and of course they already have control of the House, so they have both houses of the legislature they have control of. First thing they'll do is try to repeal Obamacare. Well, there's several million people in this country that now have at least a form of insurance they didn't have before. And the insurance companies are now prohibited from not selling you insurance because of pre-existing conditions. I mean, if you've got a heart condition and you need insurance, they can't say, nah, tough stuff. Hey, lots of luck. Take aspirin. They have to issue you insurance. And I've been told by some of the folks down at the clinic, the dialysis clinic, that they have called insurance companies here in Texas and they've turned them down, which I don't understand because the law of the land says they can't do that. But I suspect that'll all get straight one way or another. But what the Republicans will do if they have control of both houses of Congress, they will immediately pass a bill trying to either defund or withdraw Obamacare. And the only salvation we'll have is that Obama, he will veto it. And I don't think the Republicans would ever get a majority. They have to have 3/4 in order to override a veto. And that's not going to happen. So we should be good for another 2 years, but the gridlock will continue. And if Hillary wins, or Joe Biden, or any Democrat, then these laws should be safe. This law. Of course, one of the things Republicans want to do, if we vote them in, and old farts like me are the ones that are going out and voting for them. But if they vote them in, and they were successful in doing some of the things they want to do, one is they want to privatize Medicare. They want to turn it into a voucher system. Well, that wouldn't be good for me personally. I can see me going down to the local dialysis clinic with a voucher. Hey man, they gave me $400 for this week. You take that? I would assume no, because I've heard that they kind of keep it a secret, but I've heard that the sessions, I'd have 3 sessions a week, and I've heard that the sessions are anywhere from $350 to $3,000, which means that either the sessions cost about $1,000 a month or $9,000 a month. But I can see me down with a voucher. That's what I got, you know. I think that Fresenius particularly, that's my home clinic. They're a German company, and they're in it for a profit. And if it became a voucher system and the vouchers didn't pay enough, they'd probably pack up all their stuff and go back to Germany, which would be bad for me. So anyway, vote Democrat. I know that there are lots of reasons not to. But if you're an old fart like me, there's no future in voting Republican. Guarantee you. What we got here? Oh yeah, Canadian Capital was attacked by some lunatic fringe up there. In fact, one of the things that happened that kind of touched me, I spent 3-4 days in Ottawa. It's been 7-8 years ago, and this nutcase that was up there, he shot a soldier that was standing guard at the Canadian National War Museum, and I've seen it. It's a big, beautiful statue. It is really something to see if you ever get the opportunity to go up there. Canadian Parliament buildings are just really something, and this war memorial they have is really something. Anyway, he walked up to the guard that was attending the war memorial, and bam, killed him, and then he went over to the Capitol building and got inside, started blazing away, and I think the sergeant of the guard, was somewhere in there. There's a big hall, of course, center hall in that thing, and he was in there acting the idiot, and this sergeant of the guard was in the vicinity, came out, popped a couple in his brain pan. Problem was over. But the guy managed, I think the guy managed to kill 2 or 3 people before they got him. So that's a shame. Yeah. I think that this is about Obama again. I think he needs to change his position on ground troops over in Iraq. Now, George started this crap. And George took the dictator out there, and he created a void. And it's been nothing but pandemonium ever since. But I don't think that Iraq can last without some help from us putting boots on the ground. And man, I'm a good Democrat and liberal, and I don't want to go to war and whatnot. But ISIS, for whatever reason, I mean, they've got people scared. Of course, chopping heads off and shooting. They get into an area and they line up. Everybody doesn't, profess to be in line with them. Shoot them all, cut them up with machetes. I mean, they're some gruesome guys. So they need some help over there, and I think it's more than airstrikes too. Now, here's something that really chaps me about Obama. This is probably my number one complaint with the guy, and I voted for him twice. But he's gutted NASA to the point that they no longer apparently have the capability to put supply rockets up to the International Space Station. So in lieu of that, they've contracted out, just like they've, what do they call it? Outsourced it to some private company. Private company, I guess, been lucky. They've had several rockets go up and dock with the thing. Seem to be doing all right. But here, about 4 days ago, they were firing one off, and it got about 500,000 feet in the air and just exploded. One of the things that came out when this happened, these guys are using old Russian technology from the 60s. Russians used to have explosions all the time. I mean, they were playing the odds. They'd get one up, the next one would blow up, and but they were, they didn't worry about the people were riding in them, whatever. They just fire another one. Well, it turns out that this outsourced company, this private, I should have wrote down the title of the company. It's an American company, but they're using Russian technology, old Russian technology. Boy, now that's a shame. It's a shame. Not only that we don't have a lifter right now that'll put men into space, and apparently we don't have a lifter that will go up in. I gotta believe we do. But why we're depending on private enterprise to supply these guys up in the space station just baffles me. I mean, is the American nation economy so strapped that we can't fire a rocket, a dependable? I mean, we had American rockets that worked. I know, I watched them for years. Occasionally you'd have one pop, but I mean, the odds were with you when you went up in the thing. I mean, you stood a good chance of getting up there. Are we really in that bad a shape that we don't have the wherewithal to do it anymore? And I heard Putin, he's a Russian president, prime minister, potentate, dictator, whatever he is. But he said that after 2020, the Russians wouldn't allow anybody on the International Space Station but them. Well, fiddle, I thought that along with them, the United States, Canada, European Union, the Japanese, we all colluded and built components to this thing. That's why they call it the International Space Station, is because it was built internationally. And where did they get off saying, no, we're not going to let anybody on there? 2020 is way off, so I guess we'll see. But I know that Putin's really been kicking up his heels and feeling spunky. So, anyway, I understand that the United States NASA has developed, which is supposed to go into, what's the word I'm looking for? It's supposed to be deployed, I think. next year, 2015. Could be 2016, but I don't think so. I think 2015. There's a rocket and a man-carrying capsule gizmo. And once again, the United States is supposed to be able to go into space. And I can hardly wait because, boy, I'll tell you what, we've been sucking on the hind one for several years now since my man Obama grounded all the space shuttles. I said at the time, they should keep those things going until they had a replacement. But he didn't listen to me. Here's something that I find unique. Am I living in the past? Where did selfies come from? About, I don't know, 6, 8 months ago, maybe a year now. I don't think so. And maybe I'm living in the past and I just haven't been paying attention. But all of a sudden, everybody's got a camera, you know, taking selfies. Click, click, click. And I don't know what they're doing with them. Some of them are showing up on television or on the computer. But if it's as prevalent as I think, there must be millions of them out there. Now, used to be, a selfie was you pull up the top on a copy machine and you pull down your drawers and you put your cheeks on that thing and you know, that was a selfie. That was kind of obscene. But all of a sudden, everybody wants everybody to have a selfie. And then post them. I guess makes about as much sense as me sitting here plattering away. So anyway, I never heard of such a thing up until just very recently. And it's just, wow, everybody's doing it. Saw something on the computer the other day. Saw a guy I know karaokeing. Luciano Lichadone. Yeah, Mike Luciano Lichadone. He was tearing it up. And he was good. I need a little pitch pipe in places, you know. Can't get back. But all things considered, guy's got a good voice. I'm going to have to loosen up the pipes. La 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 la. I had my time when I used to do a little singing when I was young. When I got older, didn't do it. But Mike says, to heck with it. I don't know how Pamela got him up there to do that. He just didn't strike me as the type of guy that would expose himself like that. But he was good. He really was. Also saw in tonight, in fact, on Facebook, I saw that motorhome that Mike had for sale all summer long up there at Pope Haven. Didn't sell. Now, he's down in Florida living in that thing for a while. And I'm glad it didn't sell. I mean, he'd go get a lot of use out of that. I had a motorhome. It was a pretty nice motorhome. But then again, I'm probably 10, 15 years older than him. So here about, 8, 9 years ago, I sold my motorhome. Got to be a bigger pain in the butt than what I wanted to deal with. Anywho, that's about it for now. I want to tell Tracy that I like his little snippets that he's putting on here about his house and his home and the wife's cooking. Gracious me. Boy, I mean to tell you, I looked on there tonight to talk about some good victuals. Oh, what else was there? Oh, I saw 2 idiot stock car drivers. Jeff Gordon and somebody else. evidently that somebody else was tougher than Jeff, or I think that's what it was, and it kind of messed up his face. And there's just been big brouhaha about that. But you know, I've been going to the races for 50, 60 years. And almost without exception, sometime during the night's races, there'd be two guys out there just wailing on each other. So it ain't that new a thing, and it ain't that big a thing. Who was it back in the late 60s? I think he drove a Mercury. And man, he was in more fights. I mean, if he didn't win or he thought somebody run him off the track, I mean, sometimes he would run them off the track and then they'd be out in the middle of the track. And there's big name drivers. Of course, I know Gordon's a big name driver, and I forget what the guy was. Damn near put his lights out. Well, I mean, he was bleeding all over. But it's just not that big a deal. I mean, man, I'm looking on Facebook and YouTube, and I mean, it's big stuff. People are declaring, you know, that, well, he had an ass whooping coming and whatnot, you know. It's just kids. Their toy didn't win, so hey, man, I'm going to go over and whip him. Anyway, that's about it for now. I redid my list here so that, whoops, missed it. So that I could say hi to my friends. My sons, Carl and Kyle. Ray Marshall. Richard Stella. I need to call you. I meant to do that today, guy. I really did. And the ball games got me, and one thing led to another. But I have dialysis tomorrow. Maybe I don't want to promise because I'm so slipshod about it, but possibly Tuesday. Tracy, wife's got good grub. She really, of course, I remember those things she cooked that time we were at the meeting. Boy, those I gotta get Tiana to get that recipe. They were good at it. Red sauce that went on it. Oh my gracious! I'd have to really show some restraint because, of course, I have to maintain my weight because of my dialysis. So I can't just take off and eat just whatever quantity of some good thing that I want. Anyway, Richard Heitzenreiter, saw a picture of you and the wife. Nice looking lady. Really beautiful. You did good, guy. Jim and Babette, by the way, Jim, and I should have had that on here. My buddy Jim's had some health problems, but I understand that he's on the mend, and that's good. Get on the treadmill, guy. Got there at Wally World, about $200 you can get one that'll service you just right. Do a little of that every day, and maybe, of course, your doctor will tell you what to do. Dr. Dick here will tell you what to do. Anyway, hope you're doing all right, friend. Top of the evening to you. I read something you put on there tonight, and haven't slept since then, but for the life of me at the moment, I don't remember what it said. Jim Kersey. Saw the picture of that parrot of yours. Forget what you call him. John Zimbardi. Hope all's well with you. Is that grandson of yours running any races, or the season over? Might call here in a couple of days. Brian, saw you today over here at Josh's. Hollered at you on the radio, didn't get any reply, so evidently you were on business. Howard Rensselaer, saw you on Facebook, first time. Look forward to some more. Mike and Pam Leisherdome. Have fun down there in Florida. Have a good winter. Look forward to seeing you upstate, up at Sigel North. And I guess that's it. vote Democrat. I don't need the Social Security to be put into the stock market, and I don't need Medicare to be privatized. Have a fine one.